Hello and welcome back to the 4th episode of the SaintsPrime Podcast. It's been a while, about 3 weeks, but it's still me, OllIe,
Harry,
Jambo,
Mikey.
There we go.
Right, okay, awesome. Should we jump into some questions quickly?
Sure thing. Go for it.
Harry, you're the media guy. Can you?
The media.
What questions have we got first?
Well, transfer related. I think one of them was asking about Dijampa. I think that's how you say his name, and wondering if he's had his medical yet. I think so far
Came from Matt Fitz 123.
Wednesday. Yeah, I think Wednesday he apparently had his medical in Paris. There was a couple of things I saw on Twitter. Someone dissected his Instagram story and it said he was in Paris. That's where it was supposed to be, so he probably has, but wouldn't expect. Apparently Dave Merrington, I think, said we won't see it until Tuesday maybe.
I think it was Adam Blackmore.
Adam Blackmore. I get them mixed up, but he's on international duty with Mali at the moment, so I wouldn't say any, because they have to do this interview and stuff like that at St Mary's, so wouldn't think it'd be official for another week or so.
Yeah, apparently I heard something about his what colour was it?
Work
His
visa?
It was forms to get over or something like that. There was a bit of a delay.
Work permit.
Work permit, that's one. Yeah. Apparently there was a bit of a delay with that, but hopefully we should be seeing something.
Yeah, they said there'll be no problems.
I think he said hopefully completing the signing by Tuesday.
Yeah.
So next Tuesday we probably should see an announcement. There we go.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Same question. What have we got?
Other question was about Shay Adams. How much do we think he?
Who's it from?
It was from, drumroll when I can find it once again. It was from Jamie08, not the one sat to my right, another one somewhere.
How much for Shay Adams?
Shay Adams.
We were talking about this earlier. I was wondering if they would take a swap because we've got so much dead wood in our side.
Who would you swap?
Well, we've got a couple of strikers that you think could probably do it in the Championship.
Gallagher.
You think he's not coming? You look at him, he's striker. He's got goals in the Championship before. He's probably looking for another move.
He's played for Birmingham before.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
he both.
Yeah, maybe it depends how well he sits.
I don't think he's quite a 22 goals a season player. I think it's very much of a good swap there behind.
We've offered 8 million, which I think is pretty insulting to actually how well he's played.
Test
But you think if we
waters.
offer 10 and Gallagher, I think that's a much more attractive offer for them because it's a direct replacement.
Yeah.
Same sort of age, same kind of age, young prospect, England. You think if Gallagher does it again, they can just turn it around and sell him again.
Yeah.
And they get money, they get a replacement straight away. I think it's a good sign for both because we get a good-looking player and Gallagher who hasn't quite done it for us or hasn't really fit the system. I think Shay Adams could maybe more.
Yeah,
more of an impact.
I think Birmingham's transfer embargo is kind of gone now because I think they've got Gary Gardner from Aston Villa on a swap deal with Jota. So I think their transfer embargo is gone, so that can happen.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the questions. We only got a couple because it's kind of last minute. Didn't know we were actually going to do this today, but those questions.
Other transfer news. Should we look at other transfer
awesome.
news that we have got?
Because we have got a cover for 3 weeks, haven't we? So a lot has kind of happened. Not too much recently, but over those 3 weeks we have been kind of linked to a few different players. So anything that springs to mind?
Should we go? First one, David Turnbull, Dundee midfielder. Apparently, us and 9 other clubs going for him.
It's not a big. It's 2-3 million or something.
Yeah,
like that, isn't it?
but that's what we thought about Jan Bednarek when he came. It was kind of a 4 or 5 million. No one really knew much about him. Sky Sports recently, I just checked. Celtic and Barnsley have both had a bid rejected, about £2 million. So if we get in there, £3 million, I think they will accept it according to them.
Do we really need another midfielder?
If it's one for the future, 16 goals in, I think it's the 2nd division of Scottish football. I think maybe not.
Yeah, I just think we've got. It's good to bring in players that are obviously going to strengthen and be good for the future, but we've got to cut down on our actual size of the squad. I think we can just keep adding, but we're going to have a massive squad, massive wages as well.
As I say, central midfield wise, that's one of the positions that we're actually lacking players in. You think you've got Højbjerg, Romeu, Lamina, Ward-Prowse, and apart from that, there's not a lot of cover. And if we're going to play 4 midfielders next season, 2 CDMs and 2 cams, there's not a lot of cover elsewhere at that.
Yeah.
Especially if Lamina's going to be off this summer as well.
Although I haven't heard much
I
interest.
haven't heard anything really from him. But that's a definite realistic one, especially because he will see our youth set up and think that would be possible. Matt Target, next one. Fulham back interested.
I don't think we should. I think we should keep him as like a rotation left back, or rotation backup. I think, like I said, keeps the Saints traditional youth academy players. But I do quite rate him as well. He's done, especially last game of the season. Was it? No, he came on, got his assist.
Yeah, he scored this season as well.
And scored, yeah.
So, with looking at him, if you were going to accept it, what sort of bids would you go? Actually, yeah, let's sell him.
I think they've got to beat their previous offers that they've done so far, just to set the mark. Just say you've got to beat what you've offered before, because he hasn't gone down in value. Yeah, he had a good time, like a good time with you, but you think he has come to the Premier League, come to us, and has made an impact on our side. He's got a couple of assists, I think, 1 or 2 assists. So he's definitely got a future with us. So it depends. If you really want him, you've got to beat what you've done before. So at least 15 million upwards, I'd say.
He's also, we've got to have a look to see how long Bertrand's going to stay. Because if Bertrand's only going to stay for a year, if I was Matt Target, I'd stay just to stay for that 1 more year, because he could definitely push straight into that first team. But if we get, say, 12 to 15 million, I'd sell him and have Jake Voken as our second choice left back. If we want to go through that philosophy of youth players, because he does seem like a quality left back with a big future.
And people forget about Sam McQueen as well. He can play the left back role.
Yeah,
definitely.
Who else have we got? Azul Lallana. That was ages ago that it was a possibility.
It kind of been and went. I think he probably just mentioned it to see what the reaction would be, thinking he was going to get a hero's welcome back. It really didn't happen, did it?
No, not quite.
Yeah, I think everyone on Twitter, on all the different socials went.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no
but
thanks.
Apparently, he wants to stay.
At Liverpool, was just
you would
stay out of contract.
Yeah. He's on quite a bit of money there. He's not really playing much football, but I'm sure he doesn't mind having a good Champions League.
Yeah, and lifted the Champions League trophy for 250k a week. It's not bad, is it? Apparently Carrillo is interest from Boca.
Boca. I think Olympiacos also wants him, and then a couple of other clubs around Europe as well were interested. Interesting to see. Do you think we'll get a chance? Or
I still think we should keep him just for pre-season at least, because he only was there for half season. Admittedly, it wasn't the greatest season, but we spent this much money on him. We might as well give him a chance under our new manager.
Yeah.
There's no point rather just selling him off and wasting that amount of money.
Do you think? Do you think it'll fit the system?
The thing is, the games that he played and the games that I saw where he was playing, even when things weren't working for him, he still worked with the team. He still pressed high to try and get the ball and things like that. So I think he would fit the system, and he'd add a different dynamic because he's a 6'4" striker, and we don't have another striker unless it's Gallagher. But Gallagher's not been given his chance this year.
No. Yes, that's certainly an interesting one. How much do you think he'd go for, looking at his performances so far?
Not as much as we bought him for.
Probably less than 10. I think.
If we got double figures, I think we'd take that.
If Hasenhuttl wants him out of the club, he'll go for less than 10 now.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because for me, it's not that I actively want him out, because there's a lot of fans that just say, "Oh, we need to get rid of him." But he almost didn't play enough to even set a bad impression with me. Yeah. Like, set an impression either way. It wasn't like he set a good impression or a bad impression. I just didn't see him enough to actually get anything from him. Yeah. I think that was just the fact. And it seems like a lot of fans just want to get rid and kind of see it as a...
When we played West Brom away, both times in the Cup and in the League, he played really well.
Got an assist,
He was unlucky with the fact that he didn't score. Because Ben Foster was a god or something like that halfway through the game.
That was a great save.
And he got a couple of assists and he looked good.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see, because another one's Elanusi. So it seems like he came in the media and said about how he's had a chat with Hasenhuttl. So I guess he's starting to have those chats with the players, see what role they're going to have next season. Yeah. And so I guess he's starting to do that now. Obviously, the ones he knows are going to make an impact, he doesn't have to have that conversation with. It's those ones that we're all talking about.
On the fence.
Yeah. Are they going to stay? Are they not? Do they want to be here? Do they not? Because I think Lamina, when he's having that chat, does he really want to stay at Saints for another season? I think he was going to go. In his head, he was thinking, right, Juventus, Saints, Arsenal or something like that. That top 4 where he can fit in and make an impact. It hasn't really happened. Does he want to move off? Because he's probably had his time here, hasn't he?
Yeah, the problem is, we as Saints fans not want, but we can feel a possible mass exodus is going to come with a lot of the Deadwood players. But the problem with selling a lot of players at the same time, if we do sell Gallagher, if we do sell Elyounoussi, Gallagher, teams will know that we want to get shot of them, so we'll offer less. It's kind of the opposite of when you need players, they'll sell for more. But if you want to get rid of them, and a lot at the same time, because they know you want to get a budget, they'll probably go for less as well. So it's that interesting. We're in sort of that interesting place, whereas we don't really have any high value players we want to get rid of. But I'd say, would you say a loan move for Elyounoussi is the best, or would you want to get rid of him straight away?
I think he's kind of player that he's had his chance. It's time for him to go personally, but yeah, it's like he's played dreadful in my opinion. Like I said, he's not happy.
I think we've given players like Redmond a chance for similar sort of money, and he's probably now that he's been playing at his best. But I think just because Elyounoussi hasn't shown himself to be in the best of, well, not the best of light, it's just it doesn't seem like he's put himself on the team or worked really hard when he's come into it, or tried to play the simple stuff. It seems like he's just lost in that position, and it seems very uninspiring to the fans, and it doesn't seem like the fans want to give him that next chance because they haven't seen that much.
The problem is that a lot of fans are comparing a lot of the signings that we brought in to when Koeman came in and brought in those 5 players like Pella, Tadic, Mane. Like they compare them to that, and that was an instant impact. There was no like team development there. It was instantaneous.
Yeah. That is a word. Yes, that is a word.
Don't know if I pronounced it right. But it was like it takes players a while to get used to the English league, and I think that maybe a summer under Hasenhüttl, like properly, like people are willing to give Buffal a chance. Why don't we give Elyounoussi another chance?
Yeah, I think because Buffal, by doing those skills now and again, it excites the fans, and you see him do that pointless cross turn and send someone the other way. But there's still something in the back of your head that thinks it's a really nice cross turn. you see something you like, don't you? With Elyounoussi, there's not really much in my head that sticks out, and I think, yeah, I want to see him play again because of that. There's not really that much there for me.
The problem, I always think back to when Basel went to Man City in the Champions League, and Elyounoussi bossed the 2 games. And you always have that sort of feeling that there is still that in him.
Yeah.
And I think Hasenhüttl's the man to bring it out of him.
Yeah.
So if he can stay, then I'd like him to stay, and I'd like to see him do well.
I trust Hasenhüttl at the end of the day, and I think it's what the fans expect as well. I think we've had a lot of fans that enjoyed the instant success of our transfers before, like Pochettino's, like Koeman's, and almost getting to that ideology that we're a top 8, top 10 side. And I think we have a good season if we get top 10. That should really be the kind of our level, because we kind of always bounce between the leagues in our history. And I think if we do kind of that kind of middle league, if you split the leagues into thirds, Champions League and Europa, relegation, and that middle ground, we kind of want to be in that top middle ground, don't we?
To be fair, in the last couple of years it's been Champions League, relegation.
Yeah, that's true.
But
you think there's going to be teams that are going to be better just because of their stature and their history. You think you got Everton or you got Saints, they're going to go for Everton every time because bigger wages, bigger stadium, better financial backing. We're always going to lose that battle signing the players. We basically need to sign players that are going to overperform, youth players that are going to come into the team and make an impact, which we can eventually sell, and we've got to try and repeat the cycle as quickly and as best as possible. And that's always been our tactic, because we know, purely just because of the size of our club, we can't really become a full-on Europa and Champions League team because we just don't have the foundations for it. We don't have that backing as a club, and you have to kind of be realistic. I know it's nice to think, we can be Champions League in 10 years' time, consistently Champions League time. You've also got to be realistic, and you think Newcastle come into the money, and then they can have a real push at Europa League and that kind of area as well. So you need to try and get signings that are going to make an impact quickly, and make a change, make an impact, and try and move us out of that league.
To be fair, if we finish near Leicester, Wolves, Everton, that
Yeah,
sort of group
yeah,
next year, I call that successful season.
Yeah,
Just avoid that sort of horrible place near Bournemouth, Brighton.
Yeah, because
like
you look at the teams that are in the league below. You'd think Leeds and teams like that, they should really be in the Premier League, and they should really be pushing us down the spaces in the Premier League. But instead, there's teams like Bournemouth, which are overperforming considering their size. We're probably a bigger club than Bournemouth.
Much bigger.
Brighton as well will probably get quite a new team, but they're not particularly that big of a stature.
Or even look at Burnley. Burnley have been consistently like bouncing around the top flight for 10 years now, and they are like quite a small team. They're a town team,
and the amount of championship sides that are bringing in 40,000 stadiums, teams like that have. That's why I like to see Aston Villa come up.
Leeds is a massive city.
Oh yeah.
So you'd expect them to be in the top leagues and stuff like that. It is weird
because if it goes wrong, they'll still have a bit like Sunderland will still have that full capacity just because they're such a passionate footballing city.
And in Sunderland, it's like they only have one team in that city. Like with Manchester, you've got 2 teams. Liverpool, you've got 2 teams. Birmingham, you've got 3 teams, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
But with Sunderland and Newcastle, you are very much isolated in the selection. If you're born in Sunderland, you support Sunderland.
Yeah.
There's not much other team to.
No debate.
Yeah. You don't have another big team in that area to support.
And you've probably all seen the Sunderland documentary.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it.
Some of those fans, as
a great
footballing
insight.
fan, that was an amazing documentary just to see. Because for some of those Sunderland fans, it's their life. They do a 9 to 5 just so they can get to that Saturday to watch their Sunderland and do it again. Whereas our fans are quite happily, they'll forget it within 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
They'll put their little angry, passive aggressive post on Twitter, show it off, and have their Sunday roast or whatever.
Yeah.
Saturday dinner.
In a way,
takeaway.
Yeah.
In a way, I wish I could be like that because.
And there is definitely a loyal fan base in Southampton. I just think the amount of kind of. Not fit, but they're just kind of half fans.
It's not completely the life of a few supporters. I'll say most of the supporters that go to every single game a year, that is their life. Yeah. But there's definitely a few that after 10, 15 minutes, it doesn't matter to them.
Well, you think the amount of times the club have tried to improve the atmosphere in the stadium, because you've got the Northern who are basically loud because they're competing with the away fans. Got a little bit of the itching, and it kind of slightly drifts around to the Kingsland as well. But the other side, it's like a theatre.
Shut up.
Yeah. But it's like they want to listen to the players talking.
Yeah.
Like
you can hear the players talking actually. If you
that is embarrassing for a football club to be able to hear the players on the pitch talking to each other.
It's like non-league.
That is bad.
Because I sat with my friend who's quite low down, and you can literally hear Angus Gunn talking to the defenders.
Yeah.
It's just, that's why I hate seeing fans.
I don't know whether it is the good overperforming football comes first to build that atmosphere. But you think even with the League One, the Championship, you had that same loyal fan base creating the exact same atmosphere. But it's just, you think, like, what?
I would argue this point though, that we have a great away base for fans though.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what it's literally the whole Northern just go. That's what I love about the club.
When we went to Watford,
there we go.
Singing through half time, that passion of that concentrated 4,000 happy to go up there on a Tuesday, you can show that's that loyal fan base coming out there. But they're dissipated over 32 in a home game, where the crowd get anxious, they get behind the team, and when you hear that whole stadium getting nervous, not singing anymore, when the away team are getting closer and closer and closer, it's almost like they bounce off each other and we eventually froze.
It just doesn't help the players as well. It just goes down.
I would say that it's not just Southampton. You have, I think, majority of clubs in the top 4 leagues of English football, there is no atmosphere because you're getting more, because the ticket prices are going up, you're getting more middle class people going to the games, and it's less of the passion of the club but more of a day out instead. And I think it's also the fact that you get in the Northern, I'm guessing I've sat in there once. In the Northern, I'm guessing like a lot of them are they're 20, 30, 40-year-olds, teenagers maybe.
You get all different ones. So there's family. I've been in the Northern for this would be my 10th year. I'm going to watch a couple games, go off to uni. So technically this would be my 10th year as a season ticket holder. Now I was down there when I was under 7s, and I had to stand on my seat to be able to look over people. Because in the Northern, no one sits down. If they end up walking up to you to tell you to sit down, that's when you know it's been a bad game. That's like Huddersfield 1-all level, when it's really bad, nothing's happening. And that's when they start singing "Stand Up If You Love the Saints." It's an excuse to stand up again. But yeah, you get all different. And there's a guy that you don't know their names, but you just know them. You don't need to have that first name basis with them. You're just a football fan. You're all there for the same reason. Yada yada yada. And there's people all around me. There's people that have passed away. Like you don't know their first names, but they're not there anymore. There's been me who's been from 7 to 17, and a 10 years difference with different people around you. So there's all different walks of life there, and they're all passionate about the same thing. So I don't think it's one particular group. You probably get some people who just want to be as close to the away fans as possible and throw off as many hand signals as possible.
Hopefully, someone breaks over the barrier.
But I think people go to the Northern because they love that atmosphere. Because people want to start the chants first. They want to have that atmosphere. They want to get behind that team.
Maybe the club should think about extending the Northern, then moving the away fans round the corner, and maybe not giving them as much support.
So they wanted to do this. So you know, I'm part of the Saints Voice panel.
Yes.
We have had talks with the club about trying to improve the atmosphere, and one of the key reasons is this isn't going to be very useful on the video, but if you imagine the stadium, the Northern is only really half, if not.
It's not even half. Because sometimes the ticket sales for the away team get so much that they actually cover over the goal. Like one of my mum's friends, she's a season ticket holder, and sometimes she gets moved from her seat because the away fans. The away fans take over.
The way that
they get moved to a different seat that's not occupied.
That's so nice.
The way that away ticket allocation happens, you normally get 3 different bundles that you can choose, and you have to pre-buy those tickets and then basically choose which allocation you think is going to be best. So if it's going to be like a Bournemouth or a Brighton or something, and you know you're going to get a large people like wanting to go to that game, then you'll buy the full allocation, sell as many tickets as possible, and they can take up 2/3 of that Northern. However, what we were discussing was trying to move them round to try either Itchin North, Kingsland North, kind of get them in the corner so they don't have a direct impact on the goal, and you can have a whole wall of that Northern behind. And they were talking about the main reason is because the way they're situated at the moment, this is what's been discussed to me about the potential holdbacks of that. They are interested, but the main problem is the policing. You know how they do the shut off between the Northern and the corner and down this way? The ways they can put up a barricade, make the Saints fans walk the long way around and cool off, and they can bring them straight down and straight to the coaches. However, if you have them in the Kingsland North or the Itchin North, it then creates a problem between getting them to the coaches and the policemen and the walk part, like the walkways and the footwalks and things like that. That's the potential problem. And it means you might have to kind of keep them there for almost about 10-15 minutes.
And they won't like that, especially after
it won't really. It won't go right, and it may create problems and things like that. But they definitely have talked about it. And it's not like they haven't tried techniques to try and make the stadium louder. Like they've had the clappers, they've had the fire show, the lights and things like that. They've tried it, and it sometimes hasn't really worked. And I remember I was being told about the start of when St Mary's opened. They actually wanted, is it Dortmund or Bayern? The wall. And then they've almost got 2 sides of noise, and they try and compete against each other. And that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to have half of the chapel, half in the Northern, and they wanted to, so you'd have away fans, half Northern, half chapel there, and they were meant to bounce off each other and gradually make the level of the noise higher and higher. But it just, because of probably that, when we go back to that loyal fan base, it just kind of spread them over 2 areas, and you ended up having the chapel half singing, half not. I don't know if you've ever been in the chapel and you try to start a chant.
It
doesn't really work, does it? And you end up like feeling really kind of strange because you're like, I'll start singing. You get dirty looks for singing in the chapel.
I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah, so eventually people just ended up migrating over to the northern, and the chapel just became a quiet part like the rest of the stadium.
Yeah, 'cause I sit in the family stand. I've done it for 8, 9, 10 years, and I won't forget it because I had great fun. But I've never sat where you sit, and the problem is with the family section, it's all nice and stuff like that, but it's not always football talk. It's always, how's your Saturday? How's your week? It's not like right, score, who's going to win? Who don't you like? Who do you like? You know, football, only football. Right, let's leave 10 minutes before the game so I can't see the game. So cheers for that.
Yeah,
and it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. Even when you sing, you can just feel the weirdness of people around you, like. What's he doing?
Yeah.
Because I remember it was a cup game, and me, my dad, and I think there was 3 other people. I had no idea they were. It was Derby at home actually, and we were singing, and the people just around us were like, "What is this?"
Well, I don't understand. Why is it? Yeah, I don't really get what the objection is to.
Yeah.
Like I just
in a football stadium. What
I
do you
just
expect?
can't get it past myself. What are you objecting? Is it the noise? Don't bring your kids to the game. If they've got sensory issues, there's facilities by the club to provide you a situation where if they have problems to hearing and things like that, they can use those facilities. So if it's like a medical issue or something like that, that's available. You can do that. So, and if you want them to just sit and enjoy, you can go to the cinema for far cheaper, and knowing Saints' form, you could probably get an overall more average enjoyment. You think you can go to a cinema and get an 8 out of 10 every time, can't you? But I don't see what that objection is at the family stand. It just doesn't come over me.
Yeah, it's just the arguments that I hear behind me sometimes of when are we going to leave or that. It's like you're watching football, 90 minutes, 95 minutes. That's when you can leave. When the full-time whistle blows, that's when you can leave. So don't block my view. Yeah, because it frustrates. It does. That's the one frustration that I really have, and it's just the way it is. It's not going to change.
But I thought the reason we were having this kind of fickle feeling around the stadium is because of that good success, Koeman, Pochettino, and then that fall. But I think we've had that kind of recovery period now, and I thought we'd start building that positivity. Now we've seen improvements, but it still seems like the go-to energy is to look on the negative side.
The problem is a lot of fans now. It feels like, well, if you look at the 4 of us, we all started sort of supporting Southampton and like properly supporting Southampton on the rise from League One. Like it was like you had relegation from the Championship.
I was Championship relegation.
Yeah.
I started.
But the majority of our supporting life has been on the up.
Yeah.
But when you start having, sorry to interrupt, when you start having developed thoughts about Southampton rather than it just being a day out and stuff like that,
the majority of it has been on the up. So the negativity, like you've never had the negativity around the club. When I first got my season ticket in the Pellegrino year, that was strange to me because every single year it had always been positive, improvement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As soon as Pellegrino comes in, we're relegation bound basically, and that was really strange because I've never had that as a supporter.
Yeah.
So, or cared enough to care about it. So it was a strange feeling. I think that's the reason why, because you've had so many fans like be growing up with the club being positive, and now it's the first stage of the negativity.
But then, do you think it's those fans that are the kind of middle-aged ones? Do you think they've just become more interested in the success and just kind of moved their interest between how well we're doing, or do you think because we have kind of been around that Championship while for like you think of the liquidation around Rupert Lowe and things like that, trying to make sure we had a buyer in League One. Like, I remember watching Sky Sports, seeing that Marcus Lever popping up and thinking that was the best thing in the world, and having those. But I think those little lights of happiness you get, even in the bad times, are just as endearing as a promotion on the rise. Because you think we'd go to a game and probably think it was going to be 2-1, 3-1. You go, how many today, boy? To the point where Lambert scoring was just inevitable, Lambert penalty inevitable, things like that. You kind of get a bit used to it. The fact that Man City aren't happy with the double or the treble anymore, it's got to be the quadruple because they're so used to winning. Whereas I remember Wayne Thomas
Yes.
30-yard screamer, turning to the fans and kind of doing the Jesus pose.
Yeah, it was his birthday the other day. I remember Saints tweeted the goal.
Yeah, I remember that goal, and I always remember thinking that was the best goal I've ever saw live for about 4 or 5 years, just because it was just an amazing feeling, and that shows how much that stuck with me, because I must have been 8, 9, 10, remembering that. And thinking how much of a good goal that was, and that probably wasn't a brilliant season if we got Wayne Thomas in there. But
Class back in the day.
But you still think when people talk about the JPT, you think about we won the league or something like that.
I remember going up on the coach to JPT. My face painted red and white.
It was amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we won something.
Yeah.
You don't get that a lot.
Yeah,
you have to appreciate it.
Yeah. And we had to be in League One to win that. But you think
City can't do that.
I mean, you think going down to a championship and starting with, was it minus 10 points?
Yeah,
and just missing out on playoffs. And then doing it again, feeling that feeling of, we can get playoffs, we can play. No, we didn't get playoffs, but we went again, and we did it all again, and then we got up, started moving up, and then had that going on feeling. But I think there has been enough time between promotion success, and it's not like we didn't have bad points. It's very easy to look at through rose-tinted glasses or whatever our best season, but Koeman had a rough patch, didn't he?
Well, we won 6 games without a win through December.
Yeah, and there was points where people were saying, well, was Koeman really up for it, or was it just a good start? And then he changed the system, and it was back on the road again. But you go through peaks and troughs. That's what it is, isn't it? And it's wonder if people are on the ride for the whole time and going to be on that roller coaster for the whole time.
That might also be something else. Maybe people have started supporting Southampton when they were on the rise, in the Premier League.
And then when they start seeing it go downwards, they lose that interest.
They lose the interest.
Because you kind of said that there's those kind of casuals. Is that the way to kind of say it?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, but there's still teams that fill out their allocation for their season tickets and things like that. Whereas we struggle to get we normally base it around about 25,000, maybe not
28,
even that.
28, I thought. I don't know.
But you think that the amount of season tickets, we don't have a waiting list for season tickets for a number of years now. Even Europa League, we didn't have a waiting or anything like that.
We will never sell out 28,000 season tickets.
Yeah.
21,000 season ticket is probably the best that we will get. Because problem is, I know we've been in the Premier League for a number of seasons now, but we're not a big enough club. We don't have that much.
No, I think you just got to kind of face the fact that we don't.
Recruiting now.
Well, no, you got to keep pushing for as high as possible, as far as you can overachieve as possible. But it gets to a point where, unless we start cloning people to start turning up in Southampton and making it a bigger club, or having that one passion of football. You think of Southampton compared to Sunderland, you've probably got, like Sunderland, that's just that one thing that they've got, and that's why they fill up their whole stadium in League One or whatever. Whereas Southampton, you haven't really got that. You've got people going for days out, but if not, they'll go to the theatre, they'll go to the cinema, go down to Bournemouth or whatever, Brighton. It's not that intense of a passion as it compared to the other teams.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, because if, say, a fan couldn't get a ticket for a reason, they go, oh darn it, let's go do something else. Whereas like in Sunderland, or even like supporters like us, it would be like, right, life's over, chuck the laptop, because we can't get a ticket, there's nothing else to do, there's nothing else that I like. And it's just
don't have that. It's not really that passionate.
Do you know how many season tickets we sold last season then? Out of curiosity.
Not off the top of my head.
Off
the top of my head.
Have you got a figure?
I was just wondering if you did.
Okay.
You saw the laptop, I thought you were going to whip up a cool statistic.
Our average attendance over the last season is 29,365.
Yeah.
That's 2,000 seats not being sold.
Yeah.
But that can also be down to the club as well, because if many times, especially in the midweek games, you'll get away support would increase, like they'd buy a large allocation and then they wouldn't sell enough.
Yeah.
So the club would open up the northern end, but it would be too late for anyone to really
they get to a point where they'll just fill up the seats just to get more people in there as like a loss leader. Because, like I said, how the away allocation works is that the club will buy a certain amount. It depends how strict. So, for instance, Chelsea, because they're a London team and they know they're quite desired to go to Stamford Bridge, they're quite tough on the seats that they sell for the away allocation. So they will say you can either have 2,000 or 4,000. I don't know if that's exact, but that's an example. And what they'll say is they won't buy those seats back that you've bought, or you can't ask for 4,000 and then downgrade to 2. You have to take the amount of seats that you've bought. So if they don't fill that all, they'll just cut that off, but you've still got to pay for it, because they know Chelsea, they've got that kind of tourism in London. So even if you just say, right, we're not going to make that money, they can still make that money off that, whereas we're probably not like that. So that's probably why we're a little bit more lenient with our away fan allocation, things like that. And to be honest, like, you think even if we put on our Twitter and said reduced tickets due to away fan not turning up or something like that, you probably wouldn't get that massive influx with bigger teams, just because the size of
it's location, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I found a number. In the season, 2016-17 season, we sold 24,000 season tickets.
That's probably gone down to about 23,000, maybe 23.5 since we've declined slightly. Not massively.
Would you reckon they'll go up again with the Hassan Hüttel impact, or do you reckon? Yeah.
Well, there's definitely two that are go down by 2, by at least.
Really, I think Rouse sprung the city up again since especially when he first signed, everyone was like ecstatic about it. So I reckon that definitely influenced people.
I think that we had that uncertainty with Mark Hughes on the next season, and everyone said, "Oh, you have to kind of give it to him," but no. I didn't. No. Okay, all right. But we didn't have a podcast there.
Well, I didn't say it.
Okay, all right. You can get on your high.
Didn't say it on the podcast. You didn't say it. So
well, yeah. The fact is that. All right. The fact is that I think it's been the first time in a while that I've been excited for the next season, because I feel like we could generally do something good in that next season. Whereas the last couple, you kind of think, Well's been sacked, Mark Hughes, you didn't really feel very inspired about that new pre-season. You got yourself reasonably excited because your blind hope gets you up and you think, well, this is the season we get Europa League. Mark Hughes is going to take us into battle, and we're gonna end up with Europa League. But, and then crushing reality.
Are you sure we're not the only one that thought that, OllIe? Because
smacks down.
I mean, I wouldn't quite say. I think I said 9th, but it's because I'm always too optimistic. And then I don't think I said in slowly Hughes is in charge.
Yes.
That I said it quickly. I thought we did really.
Well, I think Harry, you lead with your heart a little bit more, don't you? You think. Instead of your hopes, you'll think, well, my prediction is we'll get 9th.
Well, what's the point in going if you don't think you're going to win and do well? What's the point?
It's actually Ings outscoring Salah.
That didn't quite go well. But like I said, what's the point in... There's so many fans that are so negative before they even go. Like...
Well, no, because that one was ridiculous. You've got an injury-prone Danny Ings that will play for a third of the season, compared to Salah, who's become the second quickest player to get 50 goals in the Premier League.
Yeah.
2-season wonder.
Season wonder.
Ings is going to outscore next season.
Yeah. Okay, well we're talking about predictions and things like that. Could this be an interest for next week's podcast, or the next one we do? We might take another 3-week hiatus like last time. Why don't we do a prediction for the league? See what we think at the moment. Just a form. We can see what.
You're really pushing this.
Jamie doesn't know all 22.
But you got a week. It might not.
It wouldn't be a SaintsPrime podcast if we didn't have a massive jovial dispute.
Alright. Well, do you not like that idea then? What?
No.
I'm just trying to get some energy.
It'll give Jamie 2 weeks to figure out all the teams, and then we'll do it. 20 teams. We'll go.
The fact that I say an idea and Jamie just goes, what? Oh God. I've got a week to write down 20 teams.
I've got a stressful college period.
20th.
You can do that in 5 minutes tonight.
Just do it in alphabetical order.
It takes him a week to edit the podcast.
Oh dear.
But all of this is staying in.
All of this is staying in. Do it the Jamie way and don't edit any of it. Don't edit any of it.
Oh God.
All of that conversation came from Elyounoussi. All of that conversation.
That was
Conversation.
this is just going to be massive rant. It's got no order.
Southampton is
nothing concise. It's just ranting for 40 minutes basically. We started off so well.
That was good. I think
it's good. I think it's been quite well.
We covered the Saints transfer as well.
You do have that.
People
thing,
like to
you
listen to
need a topic, and then from that topic, it
just
spirals
explodes.
out of control.
Yeah,
which is
that's
nice.
quite good.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think. Well, right, do you want to do that then for next week? Can you manage that, Jamie?
Yeah, we can.
That was not a
So we'll
face.
do. We're not going to have too much to talk about next week because if we do it weekly,
We're going to sign 4 players for our next podcast. It's alright.
Yeah,
Don't worry
there you
about
I
it.
heard Mbappe's on the move. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's to Newcastle, isn't it? Though it's
Yeah.
not to
No,
us.
it's Southampton. No, Ralph's putting his own money into it apparently.
it'll be like Keegan coming in again, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Bale and
Imagine
Mbappe.
that.
All right. Well, we'll do that for next week then.
Yeah.
We'll do 20 teams until next week, and then we'll do one before the season starts. So you'll have the transfers when Mbappe goes to
Newcastle
or whatever like
and
that.
all that.
I
Right.
would laugh if they get relegated with Mbappe.
They're not going to sign Mbappe.
Right. Should we move this back on track? So
right.
where should we go?
Kit
We-
looks shocking.
No, we're
Yeah.
not.
We already done
we're
that
not-
last
Go
week.
on,
We
go
did that
on.
last week.
We did this on the
No,
last
because
one.
my opinion has changed.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
really?
Yes.
Flip
Yes.
it,
Yes.
there's a flip of it.
Well,
Yes. See, I said this from the start. I said it might grow on me. It's got worse for me.
I think I prefer it now.
Depends if you gain weight.
I like it.
Have you seen the release kit, the prototype on eBay?
Yeah.
You know the one that was on the chat, going around on the chat.
I found this kit on
Okay.
eBay.
Alright,
Yeah.
it's from
I
you.
found this kit on eBay. So I've got a slight addiction to buying Saints socks at the moment, but that's another story for another day.
Apologies.
What are you wearing at the moment?
At the moment, I'm currently wearing a match-worn Sam Gallagher shirt, third kit against Brighton in the Carabao Cup.
Is it signed?
You know when
It's
the
not
catwalk is like, Jamie is wearing a Carabao Cup.
Oh, what's Mikey wearing right now?
And what is it? What are you wearing on the bottom? And on the bottom?
Oh, at the
he's
bottom,
got-
I'm wearing Stephen Davis and match-worn shorts.
Against who?
Yeah.
Against that
Mikey-
team's unconfirmed.
Mikey Wayman is wearing.
Jack Stevens training top.
But just a reminder, we are playing football after this podcast. I'm not just wearing this kit for no reason.
No one
What are you
cares.
talking about? We're not playing football.
No one cares.
Okay.
But anyway, so I was looking for eBay,
Yeah.
looking for kits to buy,
Yeah.
and I came across the new Saints kit for this season, but without the sponsor on it, as someone else got their hands on it.
We have got screenshots of it. I'll do some brilliant editing, and I'm sure I'll bring it up.
Are you promising this? Because I've made this promise before and haven't.
I haven't done it.
fulfilled.
Alright, I'll do it. Just on principle, I'll do it for you. I'll pop it up in the corner for you. I'll do a nice little effect for you. That'll come up. But yeah, I've had a look at it. It's got these weird kind of. Not only is it the kind of they got. I'll try and explain it, but it's sort of.
They'll see it on the screen.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Can you see? It's got.
It's
I'm
always
trying to
James not
explain.
using it. We'll
It's
see it on
got
the screen.
vertical stripes on the right hand side, and it's got horizontal lines that way, and then horizontal on the left.
You've got to say that must be a poor version of it.
That's what I'm
can't-
thinking.
It
Yeah,
can't
it is a
be the
prototype for a
official
reason.
version,
That
because
can't be the
it
finish.
looks- It does look like they've just thrown 4 bits of material.
But you look at
together.
it, and it's got the Wii Marcher on the inside. It's got the official size, and it's got the official Under Armour Saints.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the
thing.
sponsor on. It's still got so it doesn't look completely done
And
up
you even look
across
on the
there.
sides there. That
Also,
doesn't
have you not
look-
noticed how on the main kit there are 3 main stripes? On that one there's 4 and 5.
But you read that, so I'll read you the description. It says stunning shirt made for stunning shirt, a bit of a overestimate, but stunning shirt made for the 2019-20 season. This is a first release / sample / prototype, and has not been released yet. The shops won't have this till the 28th of June, which is true. Be the first to wear the new shirt. Sample prototypes don't have a sponsor on them, so this is probably made before maybe the sponsor was unveiled. So you'd probably think they must have done it somewhat earlier.
I did think it looked a bit strange, and the stripes looked a little bit weird. That's all I said. What's next then, Tizard?
What's next? We released some players, under 23 players. Main one, only one you probably would have heard of. I see that too. Jake Flanagan, one of them. He didn't play. He got 2 bad injuries, so I feel sorry for him. But also, I think Jonathan Afalobi left as well.
I think that he was run down his contract.
Yeah, we offered him a new deal. He says, no thank you, I want first team football. Premier League, Championship and League One teams, I believe, were all interested. Only two. Only two. Unconfirmed. But
Brighton.
Only two, probably.
Ben Rothon's also gone, as well as Seedorf I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's South African. It's fine.
Sure.
Seedorf Misfalo or something like that.
Yeah. So
it begins with an M. You can cut all that out.
I mean, sure.
God, I'm going to be busy tonight.
Ignore it. It's fine.
Should we have a look at some ex-Saints players? Because there's probably been. You think we're rounding up 3 weeks here.
First, though, quickly, Harsnell to get back to work after 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Which is always good to see.
Respect the grind.
Charlie Austin's situation after.
Oh God!
He got a little bit drunk, didn't he?
Yeah, just slightly. Allegedly.
Interestingly,
Twitter blew up.
Yeah, it did. I didn't quite get. I didn't see all of it unfold,
It
but I saw a lot
involved
of it.
him. Basically, didn't he say that he was better than Ings?
He was a better
Long,
finisher than Ings, Long, and Obafemi, but also agreed that he wasn't in his prime. So
Yeah.
I think anyone can see that. But, yeah, there's a couple of other things as well. Not having a go at Saints fans, but saying, "Oh, I've got 1 year left on my contract," and
He's not going anywhere, basically.
yeah.
Isn't
But I think he's happy with the tidy wage that he's on. Unless someone like a Sheffield United come in for him, because that's the sort of team that would want him.
Swap deal to Birmingham.
Sure, go for
I would
it.
take that though.
Yeah, but he won't get paid enough at Birmingham.
I think also as well, if he goes down to the Championship, he wants to be back in the Premier League within a season, and Birmingham probably won't do that.
No.
But yeah.
There we go, 2014.
Any others? So obviously we had the Champions League and the Europa League since we last did the podcast.
Yeah, that went.
Champions League,
for
most boring game I ever watched.
I
Yeah,
despise Lovren more now.
Yeah.
Full kit wanker.
Yeah.
See him throwing Mane away from the Champions League trophy that he took no part in.
Yeah.
That severely annoyed me.
The fact he had special boots made for that game and didn't play made it even sweeter for me.
Yeah. But
Greatest centre back in the world, sat 5th choice for Liverpool. So that's fine by me. He can waste his lack of talent there.
I mean, there's a bit of pain.
20 odd million.
20 million, I'll take that.
Yeah. But Mane played, Salah. Oh no, Salah didn't play for us. He did play. He never played for us. Yeah, they won the Champions
Mane and
League.
Van Dijk, and then you had Lallana and Lovren picking up their medals from the bench.
Yeah. You say I always hear about the £10 million we get for the Champions League, like for the salons and things like that, like in the clauses. I don't know how true it is. I've seen it on a couple of the Daily Star and things like that. If that's anything to go by, but.
If we do have that, they can keep it, and we'll just give them another 10 million for Danny Ings because we're giving them.
Isn't it 18? No,
I think it was 18.
18 plus probably like 2 million add-ons
and Charlie Austin.
if you played.
Yeah, just give it to Charlie
Austin for free.
Just for nothing, just give it to them.
Yeah. Van Dijk was an interesting one because apparently he wants a new contract, yet he's already one of the highest paid players and has 4 years left on his deal, which is a similar situation. So,
you think? I don't think any team, like if he said, right, contract negotiations have gone wrong, I'm looking for a new team, I think every team would throw money at him, wouldn't they? You think how much do you reckon he's on at the moment?
250 grand.
Yeah, that's right. That's the ballpark that I was thinking.
He's probably 200 grand plus. And
wow.
Actually no, 150 to 200.
Because you think Salah, when he was signed, he probably can't be on too much. But you think that actual wage structure, because you've got quite unknown players doing better. Yeah. I was thinking that they wouldn't want to completely throw out the wage structure.
Yeah.
So I think it's more 150, 160.
I think I've changed my mind. 150 to 200 because there's no way you're going to get someone that's transferred from Southampton to Liverpool and give him probably about £150,000 wage rise for that. So, but I imagine there'll be something in his contract saying if we win the Champions League.
Van Dijk is apparently on 180 grand a week.
Yeah, that sounds.
But
Salah's on 200 grand a week.
Yeah, that sounds about
right.
I
think Salah did have a contract extension, didn't he?
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah. So, thing is, I don't think any team could afford Van Dijk really. If Real Madrid, who are one of the main candidates, want him, they've already bought Hazard almost, probably by the time this comes out.
His shirt was in the shop.
Yeah. Number 7 though, interesting. Number 7.
I swear they had they gave him
Mariano was number 7, but they must take it away from him.
You think with the new kits, if you've got your £88 million player, I think 88 is a
Very
good price.
good for him.
Plus significant add-ons though.
There was reports that Chelsea wanted 130, so to get him for 88 million is actually pretty good.
But I think it'll go over 100 million with the add-ons.
Oh yeah,
If-
probably.
But when they say add-ons, like what is those actual add-ons? Is that guaranteed
That'll
add-ons? Or is that like
It'll be a mixture. It'll be instalments, games played. If he wins the Ballon d'Or, if he wins the Champions League, all those. There'll be about 10 different things that all.
You say add-ons, but those add-ons aren't guaranteed, are they?
They're not guaranteed, but they have a good chance. I'd
They'll
imagine.
probably be like over 10 goals, over 20 goals, things like that.
Yeah.
Like a qualification for the Champions League.
I'd imagine it will finish up around 100
I
million.
thought Real Madrid will get qualification for the Champions League.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying like different specifications in the contract, things you can write in a contract
That delay the payments.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah, to work it around because obviously Real Madrid don't work. They're obviously spending big this summer, aren't they? So
Yeah.
you probably think
Got
there's as
Eriksen.
many ways around it as possible.
Then you've got Eriksen as well. Then
They're
look at
having the complete rebuild this year.
Yeah.
yeah. So you've got that. So they won't be able to pay for if they want to stay in the apparent fair play regulations. Then you've got Barcelona already signed Frankie De Jong. They're either going to sign Griezmann or apparently they're not too interested anymore, or another attacker for 120 million. But they could if they sell Dembele or Coutinho. And then where else would Van Dijk go? So it's interesting. It's
Well, Man
interesting to see.
City wanted him, didn't they?
Yeah, he's not. I wouldn't imagine he's going to travel
No.
across.
I don't think Van Dijk's going to leave Liverpool. I think the contract negotiations are. I've won the Champions League. Give me more money. I
Yeah.
don't think
But
it's.
to be fair,
I want more money, or I'm leaving.
But
the
you think
club.
if Barcelona, how much is Griezmann going to cost?
120 is the
120.
release, I believe. Might be
If
100.
Van Dijk, and I'm saying this is topsy-turvy, but if Van Dijk hands in a transfer request, which is not like him to do at all, and he says, "I want one of the massive ones," Barcelona would drop Griezmann for Van Dijk, do you think?
Probably.
Because
Especially they've got an ageing PK and who's the other one? The French lad, Langlet or something.
Langlet or Umtiti, depending
Yeah.
on which one you mean.
yeah, but you think, if you have that, I think any team, the chance to sign Van Dijk, they throw all their other transfers out the window for him because at the moment he's proved that he is just. I mean, the fact that he can go a whole season without being dribbled past just shows the calibre of player
That
that's
is
actually there.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
I just think, like Mikey says, I just think he's just done it to try and get more money. If they don't do it, it'll be like, oh well.
But the thing is, they can't call his bluff because they just can't afford to lose him.
Yeah.
So his agent could just walk in and say $500,000 a year, $500,000 a week, or whatever, and they probably have to. They don't want to upset, do
They
they?
lose Van Dijk, they've got Lovren to replace him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just don't give him more
But
money.
you
Just
hear
chucking the
The fact
captain's
that
arm down.
that
that's
one
all.
guy has completely changed that Liverpool defence because Robertson and Trent can go up the pitch knowing if it's a 2v1, Van Dijk's got it. Like, how much confidence does that put you in your attacking abilities?
Yeah.
So if Liverpool get Delict as well, that's.
He'll go Barca.
terrifying.
He'll probably.
Yeah, that.
Because you think about it, Liverpool's a good club to go to now.
Yeah.
You've got one of the best managers in the world. You'll have one of the best centre backs next to you.
You've
got a
got-
good chance of winning the league next
You're
year.
playing the 4 biggest teams in Europe this year. If you think about it, if they can all get to the final, you've got guaranteed you're playing a league with 4 finalists to the European finals.
Yeah.
But why fix something that isn't broken? If they've already got a solid defence that's got the most clean,
Make it
or
more
one of the
solid.
most clean. Yeah, but if it's not broken, don't chuck in a 19-year-old in there that's not inexperienced because that's unfair. Because
I
he
think
gets to the
that they
semi-final.
can try and. I think there's other places they could probably try and improve first. Like you think that midfield, I think their defence,
I don't
you
think.
wouldn't really mess with it.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I was
know.
thinking.
Like,
In fairness,
Joel
though,
Ma-
if you've got 97 points in the season,
Yeah.
there's not a lot you could really improve on that. You've lost once this year
Yeah.
to Man City, who have gone on and won the Premier League. You can't really
So
improve
do
on
you
that.
just stay the same then?
I wouldn't say the same because you've still got to build
It
on
should
the
be
season.
predictable as well. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
you've
Like
got-
if you
you've still
do
got
the
to
exact
build.
same thing that got you this success last season,
I
people
don't-
would have seen that tactic twice last season. Would prepare for it.
That's
You've
where
got to
Leicester
have
fell.
some sort of change because you think in that midfield you've got 2 ex-Newcastle players and James Milner, Jordan Henderson. Do you think if they fall out of form, that's a midfield that needs rebuilding again?
Milner never falls out for
It could
consistent
go.
player in the world.
But
He's brilliant.
I look at it as everyone's going to build And everyone's going to buy around them, even Tottenham now, because of that Lo Celso guy that's apparently going to come into their midfield. So they're going to have to buy, especially because if you get fresh impetus, I'm not saying that Liverpool are a demotivated side, because that's certainly not the case. But if they got 97 points in one season and didn't win the league, there's going to be a bit of, not slacking, but if you get new players in that have that desire and want to win that Premier League, they're gonna bring new people in, because they didn't win the league for a reason. That's because they didn't have the best squad.
Spurs didn't need motivation. They got to a Champions League final.
Didn't win it though.
No,
Still
and that's another season where they haven't come out of anything. And I said this about Liverpool: if Liverpool didn't get that Champions League trophy, it would be almost near impossible to try and get those players going up for, what is it, third, fourth season to try and win something.
Well, they would have turned into the next Arsenal, where they just didn't. They still had a really good team, but they just didn't win anything. And that's the problem.
Because then it goes to the back of the mind.
You've got Man City, who are going, like, the next 10 years of football. Man City are going to dominate, and it's whether Liverpool can keep up and then outperform them on the day. Because that's where they struggle. If they can beat Man City, they will win the league next year.
Yeah, it's like the old version of Liverpool from back in the day.
But it all changes, doesn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, you never know. 2 years' time, Man City owner could be corrupt. They lose all their money and they're going back down the leagues again.
We can let's hope for that anyway.
Yeah, we can. And then even Newcastle might get pumped with money. It can all change.
The thing is that I think if Newcastle did get that, I think they kind of deserve it in a way. The money they'll be receiving.
With what they've gone through with actually over the last 14 years.
I wouldn't mind as of much as compared to Man City.
The fact that Michael Owen was still their record transfer
until
January is incredible.
Yeah.
And it's shocking for a club of that size.
So basically, big up Newcastle, let's let them win the league effectively.
Give them anything.
Right, so that's enough rambling for today. We've kind of gone off the grid a little bit. Normally we're a little bit more structured, but if you like the new rambling style, then let us know. If not, if you want us to go back to normal points, tell us as well. But remember, if you do like the video, give it a like, subscribe so you never miss content. Harry, what else do they need to do?
SaintsPrime Wednesdays or Thursdays, depending on when we want to do this podcast.
Yeah, we're trying to get back into it.
I'll put a question.
We've got a mic now.
We haven't got Jamie to rely on, so it'll probably become a week.
Right, that's it. You've done enough damage. Yeah, socials, we've done all that. Subscribe, like, comment.
All of that.
Let us know. Send me
Shambles.
questions. All that.
Oh dear.
So it's been me, OllIe.
The other kid's boy, Harry.
Jambo.
Mikey.
Right, that's enough. We'll see you later.
Yeah.